Good day and welcome to the PSG Wealth Local Solutions. This feedback is for the month of November 2021. To kickstart the presentation, we will have a market update just to bring everything into perspective, and then later on move into how the solutions managed to perform over different time periods, and then thereafter we'll look at just over the minimum recommended investment horizon and how have we actually fared with respect to our bench and the assessor sectors. Thereafter we'll then look at just for the month which of the funds within the solutions managed to lead, which ones managed to lag, and if there's any that are in the quantitative radar. And what we can see just over the month is that starting off with the local solutions, the more aggressive asset classes, the likes of property as well as equity, managed to outperform the local conservative asset classes, that is cash and bond, with the local cash being the least positive contributor for the month, with local equity being the most contributor locally, returning a 4.47%. Whilst if we move to the last four bars, which look at the different asset classes for the offshore component, and what we see is the opposite, with the conservative asset classes outperforming the more aggressive asset classes, seeing offshore property having the least positive contributor there at 2.39%, with offshore cash leading the pack at 5.42%. But over different time horizons, how does the chart look? And we've just taken a 7-year return and looked at the different asset classes, how over the 7 years have they fared. And what we see is that local property continue over a long-term period to show some pressure that has been in existence within that industry for some time now, whilst that made it as a result to underperform the more conservative asset classes, the likes of local cash as well as local bonds. However, the local equity managed to outperform all the asset classes locally, returning an 8.42%, whilst if we look at the offshore component of this graph, what we see is that the more aggressive asset classes outperformed the conservative offshore cash as well as offshore bonds, with offshore equity leading the pack at 15.98%, with offshore cash lagging the pack by returning 6.35%. And just now having that into perspective, and then moving into our local solutions and how have they fared from a ranking perspective. And what you then see, starting off just with the PSG Wealth Enhanced Interest Fund of Fund, is that through its existence over all different period and since its inception, the fund has managed to be ranked in the first quartile. While since inception, it's ranked second, and over the month being ranked first. Whilst what we then see is the pressure that took place within the market filtered through into our solutions, resulting into our other local solutions returning third quartile performance, whilst global funds returned first or second, with the exception of the Global Preserver Fund of Fund. Whilst if you look at the very same chart, what you then see over the different minimum investment period of each and every one of our solutions, we have actually managed providing above average returns for our clients, with the exception of the Global Preserver as well as the Global Moderate Fund of Fund. Whilst if you then look for periods greater than 5 years, you then see some strong performance coming through from the funds, still managing to provide an above average return to our clients. And as a result, we do believe that the solutions are still robust and are able to go through the different market cycles. And in going through the different market cycles, we continue to have a continuous research so that investors in these solutions will be provided with a suitable solution that will provide above average returns, and with our clients meeting their financial goals. And what we then see on this table is just looking at each of our underlying funds with respect to their benches and how they've actually fared, particularly over the minimum recommended investment period. And what we then see is that from the less risky to the most risky when it comes to local solutions, we see the PSG Wealth Enhanced Interest Fund of Fund outperforming by 60 basis point, Income Fund of Fund by 47 basis point, whilst Preserver Fund of Fund by 4 basis point, PSG Wealth Moderate Fund of Fund by 72 basis point, whilst the PSG Wealth Creator Fund of Fund by 2.24%. And this is specifically over the minimum recommended investment period. And just lastly, but not least, in this presentation, we will then look at each of our solutions, what fund over the month of November led the funds that make up that specific solution, and which fund lagged those peers making up that solution. So for the PSG Wealth Enhanced Interest Fund of Fund, we have the Prescient Yield Quant Plus leading, with PSG Enhanced Interest lagging. The Coronation Strategic Income, as well as the Coronation, the PSG Diversified Income, they led, and the other one lagged respectively, and that is for the PSG Wealth Income Fund of Fund. Whilst for the PSG Wealth Preserver Fund of Fund, we have the Net Group Investment Core Guarded leading, PSG Stable lagging. And for the PSG Wealth Moderate Fund of Fund, the Net Group Investment Core Diversified led, with PSG Diversified lagged. Whilst for the PSG Wealth Creator Fund of Fund, we have 361 BCI Equity Fund leading, with PSG Equity Fund lagging. And what we then also have is funds that are in the quantitative radar, and these funds tend to move into the radar screen and move out in the radar screen month-on-month basis. And how we then look at it is over 1, 3, 6, as well as 12 months that the fund managed to underperform its bench. It then comes into the radar screen, where we then, as a research team, then further look into the fund and just monitor them as their performance, and if there's any material changes that are taking place within the fund. It will then normally go into the qualitative. So as it comes into the quantitative radar screen, it's more of it bringing it to the research team, into light, into their eyes, so that we continue to have a much closer monitoring. And for the Creator Fund, we have the Fair Trade Equity Prescient. For the Moderate Fund of Fund, we have 91 managed, as well as for the PSG Wealth Preserver Fund of Fund, we have Coronation Balanced Fund. Though having these three funds in the quantitative radar, however, we still have the confidence that the solutions are structured such that through different market cycles, we still do continue to provide above average returns for our clients, with good governance into the portfolios, and assisting our clients walking in this journey to achieving financial goals. Thank you.